Okay, today I just wanted to talk about what compels us to ride. I'm just gonna play this clip that we did in Mahuberskloof, Limpopo. It's one of the overtaking on the left hand side. Not really advised, but these guys were really driving as slower than I would like, so I just wanted to get ahead of them. Otherwise, I'll just be lugging the bike, and that wouldn't be fun. So check this corner out, Laka corner. Ooh, just leaned over all the way. So the guy in front is the group leader. He's also the riding instructor. So I am somebody who actually does enjoy driving a little bit aggressively, a little bit quickly. But I wouldn't say quick, but I'd say in an enthusiastic pace. No, I don't do like crazy speeds, like double the speed limit or anything, but I like to cruise at a mid-range type of pace, probably double the speed limit, but not all the time, all the way. I hardly, if ever, press the bike like a 100% all the way. It's quite a scenic ride, like I said. The camera really doesn't do justice to the epicness of it and the sensations that you'd feel when you're actually part of it. But so that's what I want to discuss today, is that what compels us to actually ride. You'd have to break down the question first. I mean, like, are we thrill seekers? That's a yes or a no. Yes and no, actually. Because if you think about it, we are thrill seekers, but we don't do this riding thing for a thrill. That would be actually a very juvenile thing to do, to risk your life. Because motorcycles are dangerous. I mean, like, no shits about it. Motorcycles are dangerous, and should you mess up, you can get seriously hurt or worse. So we don't necessarily do it for the thrill, because we know that there is no safety line here. There's no seat belts, there's no airbags. It's just you and Jesus and the road. Hello. So no, it is not for the thrill. But at the same time, nobody starts riding motorcycles because they're safe. It's because they give us the thrill of danger and acceleration. So it is a yes and a no. Also, speed, adrenaline, danger. So 3 reasons: speed, adrenaline, and danger. It's the speed of motorcycles. Motorcycles can do incredible speeds very, very quickly. These things move quick, fast, and in a hurry. They can get it's not necessarily the top speed of motorcycles that actually get you or get to you or what excites people. It's the mere fact of how quickly you can get there. Most cars can do 200 kilometers an hour, but not all cars can do 200 kilometers an hour, reach 200 kilometers an hour as quick as a bike can. And I ride like a really big bike. It's a 1200cc Yamaha Super Tenere. It is not one of the fastest adventure bikes out there, but this thing can really move. I mean, I'm talking like under 10 seconds I can reach 200 kilometers an hour. There's not a lot of cars that can do that. That thrill, that exhilaration of being able to move that quickly, that's what really excites us or entices us to go for a ride. The adrenaline, you probably don't feel the adrenaline in the act of actually doing the riding yourself. I'd say that there was a ride that I just did now. It had involved a lot of twisties, and it was a very engaging ride, and I was with a passenger. So I only realized that I was high on the adrenaline when I got off the bike, because we needed to reach a destination quite quick. We were a bit late, so I was really pushing it. So as soon as we reached the destination on the parking lot, she jumped off, I jumped off, and I was like, woo! Took off the helmet. I was like, yeah, it felt good, right? So the adrenaline does play a factor. That feeling you just can't buy. I mean, it just adds the swagger in your step when you're walking in. And then the danger. Yeah, well, probably if motorcycles got banned, we'll probably do some other dangerous thing. We'll probably get guns, start playing around with guns or something. But the fact that it's dangerous is actually alluring as well. It's an escape from the mundanity of being trapped in boxes. I've mentioned this in my other video. Just being in a car, it's like the world is too foam padded, it's too safe, and we need the thrill of just being able, knowing that, okay, if I f this up, shit can get real, you know. That feels like real life. That's how nature is. You know, you get one shot at it, and if you mess it up, things aren't going to be good. We like playing those odds. It is a bit of a gamble, but every time you swing a leg over, but it's a gamble we're willing to take. So also what allures us, or what compels us to ride, is the feeling of piloting versus driving. I personally prefer calling riding a motorcycle piloting a motorcycle. That's because you're managing forces that aren't as pronounced, or aren't as, what's the word I can use for this? They aren't as visceral as when you'd be driving. Driving, you require half your brain to be half asleep, and you can probably get it home without even knowing how you got there. You won't do that on a motorcycle, otherwise you get seriously hurt, and your brain knows this, and it will make sure that you're 100% on the task. You hardly, if ever, just doze off, and if you do, you wake up pretty quickly, because you do get a close call here and there that wakes you up. So what are you piloting on a motorcycle? These are the forces that I can think of. It's acceleration. Nothing accelerates off the line than bikes. I'm talking like high performance bike, 1000 cc's and up. My bike is a Super Tenere, Yamaha 1200 Super Tenere. It's a bit of an old model. I chose it because of the color and the color scheme. I just enjoyed its utilitarian, ease of access. I mean, it's got a relatively good price, and it's quite a reliable bike. But it's not the fastest adventure bike, but this thing moves off the line. Off the line, it's incredible. The torque is instantaneous. Some people, oh no, the Super Tenere is quite twitchy. It is not twitchy, it is instantaneous. You twist the throttle, it goes. Like it's a real handful. And that's with the traction control on 4. That's with on touring mode or sports mode. Sports mode is even worse. The mid-range torque on the thing is monstrous. Like if you move off the line, that thing yeets you straight into that thing. Your acceleration, nothing like a car. I've been on a sports car before. Nothing compares to being accelerating hard on a bike. Deceleration as well also is quite fun, when you're banging down through the gears and rev matching and feeling your weight actually moving forward, and feeling the forks compress, and then the bike actually changes the way it handles, knowing how much more braking you have to do, and all of that skill transfer. You have to balance, and you have to measure it. So those are the things that you have to feel. You're actually managing the deceleration versus traction, how much traction you actually have. Also, another force that is extremely fun to us motorcyclists is the leaning sensation. Oh dear God, we cannot tell you. If you don't ride motorcycles, you would never understand this. When a bike is leaned over perfectly, like you have aimed it right, it holds the line, your acceleration is perfect, your maintenance speed is perfect, your decel is perfect, everything comes in unison, your tires have gripped the road, there are no road surfaces, your eyes are looking forward, and you're in the corner leaned over. That feeling is just pure bliss. There's pure bliss. And even when you change over, when you switch over, when you pick up the bike to lean it over the other way, that swoosh feeling, oh dear God, it feels, I don't know why, maybe it's exhilarating because it's not forces that you would normally feel if we were living in a savannah 5,000 years ago. But these are just sensations that your body just always shocks the body, like I didn't know we could move in this axis, and then there's traction. Like, when you step on something slippery, your brain sort of can tell you like a split second before that whatever you stepped on is kind of sketchy, like you're not going to get much traction of it. So that sensation and that feeling is actually extended and fed from the bike. You can actually feel when you're about to lose traction on the rear wheel, or the rear wheel is already beginning to slip. When the bike, you can feel the bike. It's almost as if like the rear end is starting to dance a little bit. If the front is starting to slip, you don't want that to happen when you're leaned over, but you actually can feel that, okay, I'm going to be over some sand, and then it behaves differently. So it normally the front end shakes when it's on some slippery surface or something like that. So you get to feel those forces and manage the traction. Traction management is one of the things that will keep you upright on a motorcycle. If you're not aware, you're not attuned, and you're not piloting those the forces of traction, you will go down. The pitch, obviously, when you're decelerating the pitch of the bike, and if you're doing a wheelie, I can't do a wheelie to save my life, but I can imagine when you're accelerating hard and you can feel the bike actually, it lifts up and then the front goes up. The whole bike lifts up as you're accelerating hard, but also it also wants to squat as well. So that sensation of pitch, if you're adventure riding and you're going down a hill, that sensation of being facing downwards and allowing the bike to compress and rebound and compress and rebound, those forces, you're piloting those as well. You need to know how much travel that you have. You have to be aware of how much space that is left between you and the ground. And you have slide. Sliders are the most fun. I don't normally slide the bike if I'm on the road. It's kind of sketch, and the margins of error is quite thin, and the dangers of you hitting something like a curb or hitting another car is actually quite high. So I just leave that for the off-roading. Off-roading, just lower the traction control and just give it some gas and let the back end play around a little bit, lock the rear, and the bike will just skid along everywhere. It's kind of fun when you're turning a corner off-road. It's also very fun to just to open it up and the rear end kicks out, and it's a very fun sensation. It's almost as if like you are skating at the edge of what's controllable on the bike. You're piloting the slide. How much slide can you take? But to be honest, on these bikes have got a ginormous amount of torque. So what's really doing the managing and what's really doing the work is actually my camcorder is moving around a bit. What's really managing it is the traction control. It does play in. Without traction control, I don't believe these bikes will be rideable. There will be way too many accidents. And then we move on to what compels us to ride again. Also, it's the relaxation. The thought process going behind the riding. It's like it engages your body, it engages your mind, and it engages your mind in sense of giving it sensations, also the awareness of how dangerous that this thing is. It keeps your mind super focused on the particular task that you're doing. So by that, you cannot hold other stuff at the same time. So you cannot be stressed about work or your wife or your finances while you're riding a bike. You need as much of your attention as possible on this particular task in the now. So you are living in the now, and that break that you get from living in the now and not thinking about other things and just processing how you're going to manage all of those forces that you talked about earlier as you are moving, transversing or transporting yourself through space and time, that's actually quite relaxing. Also, it's mastering the art. It's an art form. No two people ride the bikes the same. As there are lots of different categories of bikes, and that's to cater for the different types of riders. And within those classes, there's also different styles of riding. Some of us, like I said, I'm more of enthusiastic rider. I keep things at a mid-pace and a controllable level, but I don't get like super crazy. I don't like going above 200 k's an hour. Once I'm at 200 k, that's my personal limit. But I do get there fairly quickly, and I do like to keep the bike a bit revvy, and I'd like to exit quickly. I enter slow and I exit very quickly, and I like that aggressive riding style in a way. So that art form of being able to control and pilot a motorcycle. Also the involvement of sensors. I did touch on this a little bit. So then those sensors that you feel, there are more than 5 sensors. There are these sensors that your body can comprehend, but it doesn't comprehend them in a normal way, like processing speed. When you're accelerating really hard, your brain really doesn't comprehend or understand how that it's possible for us to move in that space, because the only way that could be happening is if you are falling off a cliff. That's the only way human beings could actually feel the sensations that you feel when you are accelerating that hard on the bike. So those involvement of those kind of senses that you don't normally use on your day to day, or don't normally feel, even that healthy dose of fear where you almost die, you know, that feeling is nice. I'm not gonna lie, in a kinky kind of way, that is nice. You're like, holy shit, I almost died, but I kind of liked it, you know. It's got that feel to it, you know. I don't know, that actually, that's what also compels, like you want to feel that little bit of danger, you know, with a kink. But to say what compels us to ride, though, I'd have to say it's the freedom and adventure, you know. Almost any bike, yeah. If you're not riding for work and you're just riding for, you have a car or you have another mode of transport, or even if you don't, the freedom and the adventure of riding a motorcycle, it's not necessarily the freedom and adventure of it, but it's the expression of who we are as individuals or as a group of motorcyclists. We love the danger of it. We know it's dangerous, and we love the fact that it is dangerous. We love flirting with danger in a way. We love living in the moment. We love being engaged in an activity that helps us to actually brings us closer to ourselves and it relaxes us. We love to travel, you know. To travel, a lot of people think that it's to go to a fancy destination, but to travel is actually to move through space and see different things and experience different experiences. Like I said, all of those sensations that you feel when you're riding, you know, we remain engaged. It's not to reach the destinations, but the process of getting there. You know, that's the best way I can describe it. That's what compels us to ride. That's the best way I can put it. There's no other ways. I'm more or less riffing, you know, in a way. I'm just following my train of thoughts, and I don't necessarily have a script. But those are the things that I can say actually compels us to ride. So we'll meet again.